Milliken's feeling pretty good today.
He looks good today.
Despite the 1-3 start. He looks good.
Looks like a better kid.
He's feeling good about the team.
There's reasons to be optimistic right now. Devers and Costas will hit eventually as long as Devers' shoulder isn't actually hurt, which I think is a very fair conversation to have right now.
Oh, I don't think it is.
I don't think it's hurt at all.
I don't know that it's not hurt, but I don't think it's a fair conversation to be having.
I'm worried because the bat speed is down significantly. It's in the 30th percentile right now. He was in the 60th percentile last year, and it was trending downwards as the shoulder injury started to bark more. So that's the stuff that I'm kind of looking at. I don't think Rafael Devers isn't going to hit, but if there's something that could be a significant problem, I think it's the injury stuff way more than it is, him not caring or him not putting in the work in the spring.
He's also swinging at pitches that are below his ankles, so that helps too.
I mean, he looks like a guy that hasn't had a spring.
He's hacking up there.
Yeah.
He's hacking like a guy who's playing in a softball game. He is.
He swings the way I would swing.
You can't deny that right now. You can't. And I think it's mental for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think the bat speed could very well be not injury and could be the fact that he didn't really fully participate in spring training.
The other thing is he has a new swing path. When he didn't swing all offseason, one of the major things when he came to spring training was we are going to have you swing a different way with your shoulders at this point in time. Is that factoring in? Is it all of this with the shoulders now being different? Maybe not being unhealthy, but he has to play the game a different way than he did a year ago.
Yeah. Well, I think that this new stance of his is absolutely slowing down that bat. So I'm not going to sit there and pin it on his shoulder and assume that there's an injury. It doesn't look the same as it used to for him. It's different. The swing is different. He's different. And I think right now he is suffering from the lack of a long build-up to the season. His start to the year was late. But, wow, this is the worst we've ever seen him look.
What do you do, though?
Well, he's going to come out of it.
No, I know that.
Okay, I have full faith.
But how do you get him out of it?
That he is going to come out of this. I think the only question is how long does it take?
Yeah. Do you tell him go back to the old ways? Like, hey, go back to how to hit. You're one of the best pure hitters we have. Go back to your old ways. Or do you sit him down for a little bit, get him away from it?
No,
just keep putting him up there. Right?
No, you got to keep going.
Right.
Up there.
I agree with that. No, but I'm like everybody. I've heard people say, calling shows over the weekend, say, "Well, you shake up the lineup." You can't do that yet. You want him at the top of your order. Like, you want him in that front part of your order.
You've got to free his mind, Zoe. How do you do that with a teammate? You go out
one night.
Go out one night,
Twin
right?
Peaks,
It's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, man, they got to go out and get hammered.
Where are they next?
That's
Baltimore?
The first fix here is go get hammered. And part two is, hey, you do whatever you want up there.
Right.
Whatever it is you think is right, you do. That's what you do.
You need a night like this.
You need a night like that. You got to clear the decks, man.
So they're going to Baltimore,
The mental decks need to be cleared.
Afternoon game today, though. That's a tough turnaround.
Why not?
I
It doesn't
know.
matter. You stay up. Just go right to it. So, do you know how fun Fells Point is in Maryland? It's on the other side of Inner Harbor. Send him there. Get some crab cakes. Hang out late at night. Baltimore stays open late. It's a good town. You got to go out and you got to shake it up a little bit. Not on the diamond, but in a couple bars. Send him out there. Give him more per diem.
Does he need a Jose Canseco slump buster?
No. Don't need the BMWs and the cars and the ex-wife and all that running into each other. No, we don't need that.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that was some crazy stuff.
He needs something. He needs something to free his mind. This is so brutal. It's become wildly compelling, his at-bats.
Yeah. And before the season started, we said, what's your main thing you're going to watch? And this is the main thing we were going to watch because he's your most important player. He's your best player on your team. He's your best hitter. And I said it, too, like for the professional athlete part of it, when they take something away from you, and I know he's only doing like half the job now for the same amount of money, it messes with your head. I think it just messed with his head. Like, I don't know what his routine. He said, I stick to my routine. I have my routine. I'm warm when I get up there. I feel comfortable at the plate. This isn't the same from every game. He didn't have a whole spring to where, hey, you're the DH today. So you're going to figure out what your routine is. I think he's still trying to figure out what the hell his routine is.
He did say, he was like, I think Shaughnessy was the one who brought it up. He was
Yep.
like, yeah, I might make a call to JD Martinez or David Ortiz and
Where's Ortiz?
see what they're
Why
saying.
haven't you yet?
No kidding. Like Veritex consoling him in the dugout.
He's also DH'd before. He's DH'd 20 games in his career going into this season, so it's not something he's totally
But
unfamiliar
he's
with.
not the full-time DA. He
Right.
was not the full-time.
It's so
You
different.
were still sitting for those entire games.
matter.
You've been through the process. Not maybe every single day, but when you've dealt with injuries before, they have put you in at DH to keep you in the lineup.
Well, it's part of the problem, though, when you're the DH full time and it's not one day here, one day there. This is every day, and you've got nothing but time to sit there and think. And sometimes that's the worst thing you can do. Really.
Yeah.
Is to have all this time.
It stews in your head.
I just think about how tough it is to have to sit there through a 3-hour game and you participate in that game for, if you're lucky, 15 minutes, right? By getting on base and being on the base paths for X amount of time, X amount of minutes. But if you're going up there like he is right now, 0 for 16, that means he's up there for 3-4 minutes at a time, maybe, and is done for the day. Like,
I mean, how many times he get behind, he counts too. Like, it's right away.
well, he's
Like,
driven
in
up.
trouble.
He's seen enough pitches in some of these at bats, right?
It worked a walk at the end of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he's been seeing pitches, but there are pitches that he's fouled off that I think historically he puts into play, and that swing is changed. It is changed, and he's got to straighten that out. They got to straighten it out for him.
I can't remember if it was his final at bat yesterday, but there was a fat slider that was right down the middle of the plate, and he just missed it.
Yeah, it was yesterday. That was the last at bat. Because then the third ball was almost a strike. It was like almost over the inside of the plate. He let that one go, and then the other one was high. And then of course he walked him.
Rafi Devers is going to heat up at some point. He's going to return to being the same player he's always been. The question is, how long does that take?
Friday, 64 and sunny Friday.
It could happen in a week's time. It could happen in 4 weeks' time. It's only a question of how long it takes, but this is painful to watch.
It's just weird to see the amount of strikeouts more than anything. Like, if you look at before he got shut down last year, he struck out 3 times in his last 3 games. In each one, it was 11 Ks over his final 4. So that same strikeout pace that you saw at the end of last year when they told him to sit down, it's still here right now. And we have never seen Rafael Devers strike out at this clip over, a stretch like that.
We're now 4 games in. I'm still not panicking. No panic. And nobody ever said that the other day.
Despite
There was
the
no
headlines.
panic the other
Despite
day,
the
Twitter.
headlines.
I'm not yelling at you, Milliken. I'm yelling at Twitter.
I'll take the blame.
One more week.
Despite the headline, no one was panicking after one game.
What the hell was that?
It was an open-ended question.
It was. I don't even think we asked it.
We never asked that.
We never asked the question in the segment.
Did you write that?
He did, yeah.
I
No,
did.
it's
Son of a
fine.
gun, you.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just that nobody actually watches the clip. They just react to
No,
whatever
just the headline.
Yeah.
Nobody was
Those a-holes.
panicking then.
They don't know
Nobody
what
is
they're talking
panicking
about.
now. But I just wonder how long it takes to get this guy straightened out. And I'm telling you, this DH thing, I think it's harder to come out of it when you're a DH.
Of course it is. Because you're out there in the field, you're moving around a little bit, and you're focusing on the game. Your mind's not going 18 different places.
Well, you don't have an hour in between at bats or however long it is, 40 minutes in between at bats to sit there and just think about what the hell went wrong in that one and how you're going to fix it in the next one.
Like T-Bone said, where the hell's Ortiz? They got to get him and get him with him.
They were hanging out together during camp. What the hell were they talking about?
Well, not this.
How do you know?
Was Ortiz allowed to talk to him, or did the nerd step in and say, no, that's actually not the approach that we take?
true.
Yeah.
I believe Devers also said they didn't really talk about being a DH. That wasn't what they were going back and forth on.
I would pick his brain like crazy.
Jim Rice also said on postgame when he moved to DH, it meant nothing. He was like, it was no change whatsoever. I just showed up to hit. It wasn't a problem. He was like, I don't know what would be the problem with finding a routine or anything like that.
He was like, yeah, it was good with me. But that didn't happen until very late in his career. So
Byron Buxton is a good example of when he moved to DH and he just stopped hitting completely. And the minute they put him back in the field, he was one of the better hitters in baseball again.
I would just say that, listen, this guy's too good for this to not get figured out. Despite a 1-3 start, there are many encouraging signs from this Red Sox team, including the debut of Christian Campbell. Does he pass the eye test? You're damn right he does.
Yes.
I mean, just look at him. You could tell right away, like, this kid's a player.
I mean, first grounder to him, he double clutched it, a little hiccup on it. But since that, he's been good, been damn good. He looks so young too.
Well, he is.
I know he is. It's hard to sit there and watch a guy that's young, in his early 20s play that type of ball.
They're also working on a contract extension for him. and that could be nearing a completion.
Good start. What do you throw at him? 15 a year?
What does that look like? I have no idea.
I brought up Bayo to you during the break. They did this with Bayo.
I think you're looking at something like Jackson Churio, maybe a little less. He got 8 years, 82, and that was before he had ever played a game in the big leagues. Now, obviously, we got, 4 games of Christian Campbell? But if you're talking like top 10 prospect, Campbell's a top 7 on most lists. He kind of should fit right in that range right there. Not as premium of a position, but second base and left field, so I'd put it somewhere between 75 to 85.
Not bad.
That's great if you can get it after a week of major league playing. So I think it's going to happen. They're apparently way down the road on it. The kid looks great. He's going to be great. They know it. They're going to lock him up. He's one of the encouraging things. The Red Sox bullpen is an encouraging sign after one weekend of baseball. Honestly, I would put the starting pitching in there as well. Like, was it great? No, but it was decent.
Yeah.
It was decent.
You should have won the game yesterday. You had a chance to win that game yesterday. You know, obviously the first game was good with Crochet, but he labored, but he got through it. Like the starters are going to be fine, I think. Hulk, he didn't look that great.
I think he's the one that, if you're going to worry about any of those arms, I think there's going to be a real regression for Tanner Houck this year.
What is it, velocity?
No, not really. Last year, his most used pitch was the sweeper, but in the second half, he became very sinker-based because he wasn't able to miss bats. That's essentially where he was at in this start, where it was very heavy sinker, more walks than strikeouts. He was almost 9 K per 9 in the first half last year. It was just over 7 in the second half. He's not missing bats again, so you fall into this pattern where you're going to give up homers, where you're going to have trouble putting guys away, especially lefties.
Other signs of optimism, Bregman at third base. Not that that's a surprise. We expected that, but, man, it's nice to just see a competent infield for the most part, and that includes Bregman being at third base. Everything feels automatic now.
Yeah, I think they made like one error and it was like a catcher's interference, and that was it.
Yeah, so the defense is better and improved, and that has been such a sore spot the last several years.
Does Devers roll his eyes on that, though? You know?
I don't think he's got time to be thinking about that right now.
He got enough on his plate.
They told him at the start of the series, don't worry, you never have to carry a glove again because you're not playing third base here.
Jesus.
I mean, Alex Cora could not have made that more clear.
And in Cotillo followed up. Devers did not say he wasn't willing to play or anything like this. This is firmly on the Red Sox.
Why did it take you so damn long to get to that point to say that to him instead of saying it to him in the offseason or when they were going to get Bregman or they knew they were in on Bregman?
That's the problem. It's like, how bad the messaging
They
is.
let this fester.
That's probably the worst possible time to tell him that, too.
That's when I feel bad for him, though. Like, you come into camp and you think, okay, yeah, I'm playing third base. I played third base my whole life here. Why wouldn't I play third base? And they let that ride.
You had him take grounders all camp. Like, oh, yeah, he's going to get some work at third base in games. They said that multiple times before he never did. And now it's like, nope, we don't want him anywhere near playing any kind of defense for us. Just be up front. If you felt this strong, and people are giving Breslow credit for, we're going to prioritize winning. That's all that matters here. Screw your feelings. Awesome. You could do that at the start of the offseason and say, Devers, look, you suck at everything defensively. We know what we need to upgrade here. Get ready to DH because we don't want you playing defense. If you felt this strongly about it, you should have been clear about it.